Okay guys, so this is going to be a little quick video because I just kind of wanted to point this out that, not over here though, but I don't know if it's ever been this bad. I don't remember it being this bad, but I don't know, I don't really care for it. So, and it just got done freaking downpouring out today too. We had 0.6 inches of rain, so enough to dampen the top of the earth. And then, yeah, so it's just enough to dampen the ground. I got a little time at the spare. I took off from the house a little bit early. And, I guess I still had some spare time. So, get rid of this. But anyways, I'm going to have to put this camera in super wide, which I just did right now, because this camera's got that feature. And I don't remember if this has ever been like this. I think it kind of has been, but I honestly feel like it's getting worse. And it's also kind of concerning because it's on our land. So let me know. You know what? Let me back up. I don't know how big it'll be kind of in the way, but I don't know how far I should back up, but what do you see wrong? Yeah, this pole is like leaning heavily to the left. I have no clue if it was ever, I honestly don't remember if it was ever that bad. But to me, it looks like it's leaning more than it should, because there are wires here and they're going right through the trees, and nobody has ever cut those trees down. They do it over here, but they never do it over there. I don't know why. And oh yeah, and then there. So obviously this is the main power wires, but whatever the fuck those are, I mean, I thought maybe those were guide wires, but they're only going in one direction. So, but honestly, that is kind of a scary thought, because compared to, this pole's a little further away. I'm not going to walk all that way, but you can tell that this guy is standing up pretty straight. So, but that guy, he's getting such a lean to him. I don't know what the fucking deal is. I don't know how it got to be like that. I was kind of thinking maybe the earth is giving way over here. Because fuck, if that comes down, that's going to be the end of the town power. Because I think our power, I don't know if our power comes from North Dakota or somewhere here in Minnesota. I don't really know. But let's see here, I get my sunglasses off. Oh yeah, if you can stick your hand down there, like I'm between the dirt and the pole right now, about, well, let's see here, about right to where my thumb's at is about how far I can get into the ground. You can see the dirt on my hand, I guess. So that's a good inch or two. Because the ground's super soft, but that's kind of funny though, because this pole is a massive pole. It's not one of those little skinny sticks that you see in town. I mean, I guess it ain't that huge, but I've seen bigger. But yeah, I don't know where those power wires go. And of course I can't really move the pole, obviously. It's still in the ground pretty well. But yeah, there's our storm from way earlier. She's a little bit of a slow mover. But I don't know. I don't know if I should be concerned about that. I mean, it seems like it's in there pretty good, but man, I feel like it's pulling itself slowly over. I mean, I would hate to have it come down and then, you know, we lose fucking power for a couple days because it's going to rip all these freaking power wires down. And actually, I need to tell my grandma about this because we actually need to talk to the power company, and they need to figure out a different route for this wiring, because honestly, it doesn't do us any good. I mean, this was this was probably original to when the town was found, and when electricity was kind of a thing. They just kind of ran it wherever they thought they could run it the best, and of course, just happened to go right across our land with it. So I think the best thing to do now is to relocate these power lines. They need to get them off our property. What they actually need to do is actually go where the old bridge used to be, run the main wires that way, so that we can get some of our ground back, because not that we're losing a hell of a lot, but you know what? Even the young guy said too, they need to do something different. They either need to, he actually just recommended to put one big giant tower right in the center of the field. That would eliminate these 2 poles, 3 poles actually, there's a third one down there. So we got a total of 3 poles in our field. And you know what, they are kind of pain in the ass to go around. And they don't really need to be here. They need to be moving them. But yeah, see the main wires, this is obviously the main grid, and they come from North Dakota. So you can see, you can see the wires hanging there. So what they need to actually do is actually just move everything south a little bit and get it off our land, because I don't really care for that, to be honest. The wiring don't look that old. I don't know how long those wires have been there. I guess pretty much all my life I've never remembered any of them changing these power wires out. So dog barking. But yeah, but where these power wires go, I have no fucking clue. They go back to North Dakota, but I've honestly never... I'm not seeing anything under stress. Like, I'm not seeing any cracks in anything, so it may not be all that concerning, but that leaning of a pole is a little scary. And then you have to come find out they've never trimmed these trees back, which is funny, because you think they would want to protect their wires. Because if a tree comes down, which already kind of has happened, it's gonna take the wire out. And I can't walk in here because the grass is super wet. But they must go somewhere. I actually need to go back down into my little trailer and take a second look again to see where exactly they go. They have to go to a guide. They have to go back to North Dakota. Because if they were guide wires, well, there's no guide wires on any of these poles. So why would you add 3 here? And you wouldn't just mount them to any tree, because you can't trust the trees. But that's kind of a sketchy thing. I don't know if I'm a fan of that now. Because it's such a leaner. And if it starts to lean too much, it's going to start pulling the wires down. And then, then the town's going to be without power for a few days. So now is the time to freaking catch it while you're still that is feet. It even looks like the pole, like it's been bent. Could just be the way it was made in the factory. I don't know who makes these poles. I guess some kind of a pole factory kind of thing. But you can see it leans, but then it almost looks like kind of right there. It's like it bends. So it was never a true straight pole anyway. But man, I don't know if it's ever been this cocky, or they're just leany. I know on those poles over there, they got guide wires there. And they've never looked at them. Oh, I suppose when they were down there, they look at them. But That's a little bit on the concerning side because that sucker's really leaning. And the rest of them are not leaning. So I don't know what's wrong with this guy. You know, unless he was just putting the ground crooked, but I guess I never really looked at these poles good enough because I'm just so used to them being here. I don't really look at them anymore, but yeah, I don't know. We should probably talk to the power company and see if they can relocate these wires somewhere else. Because they could be putting these over where the old bridge used to be at, you know. And actually doing it that way would actually probably would save them some wire. I don't know, because you got all these fucking stupid bends in the wire. I don't know why it was ever made this way, but it's kind of a, you can see the guide wires and everything there. So it's never really they actually had older poles in there, but they cut them off, and I guess they put these new ones in, or newer ones. These were probably new at some point, but they've been here for years now. But they left the old ones still there, but they cut them down just, you know, so they wouldn't stand in the way. But maybe something should be done about that pole. I guess I don't think it would. Yeah, well, it's probably never going to come out of the ground. I imagine it's in there quite a ways, but that is it's got such a nasty lean to it. You know, what's funny too is that maybe the trees are actually growing on the wire and they're actually tugging on these wires. You know, and maybe it's actually pulling on the pole. But I don't see any stress anywhere. Like, I don't see anything breaking or cracking. I don't even see any cracks in the pole. I mean, there's natural cracking, but I don't see any frays in the wires, like where they connect. Because if there was something wrong, you would see cracks like these, but you would see them much bigger than that. These are just like little mini cracks. Obviously, that's just a sign of the pole getting older and the weather beating on it and causing it to shift and move. But I don't see anything breaking. I don't see any broken bits or anything. The wires ain't flopping around. So I don't know if it's a huge concern or not, but that kind of can be kind of a scary thing, because I don't know if I mean, the flood's down here, but if the flood was hard on the poles, it'd be hard on all the poles. And plus, this pole's leaning the wrong way, because most of the time when it floods, the waters are going that way, so this pole should be leaning that way, not this way. So it's got to be a sign of something pulling on the wires. But if those are just power wires, they should have snapped by now if they're under that much stress, because they honestly they're not meant to take any kind of a load. They're just power wires. Guide wires are made out of complete steel. But that's got a nasty lean to it. I'm not a fan of that, because I mean, I don't know. Another thing I guess you could kind of look for too is to see, this requires walking 10 miles. But another thing you probably could look for is to see how much bowing is still in the wires. Because there has to be some bowing in the wires. If not, well, then there's obviously an issue. And that's easy to tell just by the gaps in the wires. And to be honest, to me, they look a little tight, but that very bottom wire has got more gap in it than the rest. So, but another thing, I mean, you can look at, there's multiple different signs you can probably look for. Obviously, this thing's starting to bend and twist like they probably shouldn't be doing. Super tight wiring. Now, another sign you can look for is this pole, if it's being pulled. And he looks fairly straight. The only thing I'm seeing is that this bottom, let's see here, this bottom insulator is bent back, but the top one's perfectly fine. There might be probably just a wee bit of pulling on the pole, but so this pole looks like it's more stressed out, but that's because oh, there's crickets living in the pole. Look at that, that's hilarious. So yeah, look at that 1 inch. I mean, well, I can get my finger in that. This pole's done. But I don't, oof, big hole here. And then look at the other insulator. And that insulator's got a little bit of bending in it too. So those wires look like they got more gap in them, but see, those wires look like they got more of a bow in them, whereas this one doesn't really look like that. But that could just be because I'm on a different angle. I got to see these from a different angle as well, but that pole is, whew, I don't know. Kind of not really a fan of that, but I don't remember it ever being that bad. But I guess maybe I'll talk to my grandma. Maybe she'd remember if it's been like that for years. Because I don't remember, to be honest with you. I don't know, you guys tell me if there's any power people out there that watch my stupid videos. Let me know if this is a problem. I mean, in my eyes, I see a problem. In my eyes, I see a problem, but I mean, the pole could have just been, well, if you put that pole in crooked, what were you on at the time? Were you drunk or something? Because you got all the other ones perfectly straight, but you did a freaking terrible job of this one. So that's why I'm kind of wondering if something's not pulling on these wires here. But I think those are just power wires, and they should have snapped a long time ago if they were under any tension, you know, or they should have been ripped out of the pole. Then something has to give, and usually it's the wires that will give first before the poles do. But I guess if there's any power experts out there, just let me know. But honestly, they need to relocate this wiring so it's off our damn field. Because we have to go around 3 fucking poles to mow or do anything down here, and that's stupid. They could just route it over there now because nobody does anything by the old bridge. So that's where they could be relocating these power wires, you know. So, but I'll have to run it by my grandma and see what she thinks. And yeah, I don't know. If it was up to me, I would have called and said, hey, get your power wires out of here because they're a pain in the ass, and they got a pole that's severely leaning a lot. So, but like I said, I don't see anything under any stress. It's just somebody must have really put her in crooked then. But sometimes I kind of wonder too if it ain't the trees pulling on that set of wires. But they should have snapped by now, because it would take a lot of force to bend that pole over. But, you know, of course, it doesn't help, too, that when it rains, the ground gets soft, and then it's easy to pull them over, too. So, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. I just wanted to point that out to you guys, that got a sketchy pole here. And, honestly kind of think something needs to be done about it. They just need to get them out of here or come up with a better plan. So, but anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. So I guess have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.